Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other light-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Welcome to Nightlight, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I am so excited about tonight's show because it's a fascinating topic and one that we've talked about a lot, but it's a new take on it. And I have Dr. Kelly Sullivan Walden with us, and her book is called Dreamifesting. And it's a fascinating book and process, and it turn your dream life into reality through the power of your dreams. That's something all of us are focusing on and hoping for. It's time to wake up to the life of your dreams. So Dreamifesting is a revolutionary approach to manifesting that which goes beyond visualizations and affirmations to unlock the hidden power of the subconscious mind that can turn dreams into reality, something all of us wish we could do. Through decades of research, dream expert and best-selling author Kelly Sullivan Walden noticed that when you pay attention to the wisdom and guidance of your nighttime dreams, you bridge the gap between the conscious and unconscious to create a whole-brained, whole-soul experience. Something I've talked about over and over and over again, seeking that portal to the higher consciousness, to discover your authentic, soulful desires and create a life inspired by your wildest dreams, filled with the passion and purpose to become the best version of yourself. Kelly is one of America's most trusted dream experts and award-winning author of 11 books and 7 oracle decks. She's decoded dreams on shows like Dr. Oz, The Real, Coast to Coast, and Hallmark's Home and Family. Her mission is to empower people, whether they're stay-at-home moms or world leaders, to harness the power of dreams for soulful living and next-level success. This is another way of spiritually evolving in a very exciting way. So I welcome to the show, Kelly. It's so nice to have you with us here tonight. I can't hear you. Did you turn your mic off? Can't hear you. Well, that's weird. We were just talking. Again.
Is that any better?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I have no idea. We're still in Mercury retrograde, so the trickster energy is out there, but it's a pleasure to be with you, Barbara. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a joy, and your book was fascinating. I talk to people all the time about seeking that portal from lower consciousness to higher consciousness, the spirit that's linked to the infinite. And your Dreamifesting book is an amazing program that helps people to make that journey. And it was fascinating to read through the processes. And not only that, but the meditations you had in there and the visualizations you had in there. And I loved all of the different statements from different people that you threw in as well. They were so inspiring. It was kind of like, this is a world view of something. It isn't just one person's opinion. And
Yeah.
that's what impressed me greatly.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, it's literally dripping with great quotes. So if you don't like me and my writing, there's some really great curated quotes in there.
No, and where did Dreamfesting come from?
I kind of call it dreamifesting, like manifesting or womanifesting.
Okay.
I would say that it's the work I've been doing since from the beginning of my professional dream work days. I remember very clearly after a workshop I had given at the Bodhi Tree bookstore. I don't know if you remember or heard of the Bodhi Tree in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And I was out on the street out in front of the Bodhi Tree and talking with a group of people that had just been in my workshop, and somebody was saying, "Well, this is just it's just really smart to use your dreams to help your life get better." I mean, that's what you're doing. It's not just about decoding the dreams or going through that portal that dreams can take you to and flying off into Never Never Land, but it's about taking that wisdom, taking a big gulp of it, and then bringing it back to the dry land that we live on and using as much as possible, at least a little bit of the dream wisdom and incorporating it into our waking lives. And so for a long time, I'm always very punny. I'm from Whittier, California, so I can't help but play with words. And I would talk about the difference between manifesting and womanifesting and dreamifesting. And I lay that out in the beginning of the book. I give people a quiz for the purpose of kind of drawing a distinction, manifesting being the way to get what we want without taking no for an answer, kind of being very pushy about it and using that masculine part of ourselves in an extreme way to get whatever we want. And of course, there's wonderful people that manifest in
Yeah.
wonderful ways. Not all manifesting is like, oh, with brute force, but it can. That's the shadow of it and the
Okay.
extreme of it. And then the extreme womanifesting is where we become so passive that we say it's like Scarlett O'Hara, help me, I can't think about it today. You have to do it for me, Rhett." And like, do it. Or Blanche Dubois, "I don't want to think about it now. Well, I'll think about it tomorrow." And you get people to do it all for you.
Yeah.
But then dreamifesting is where you take the best of manifesting, that pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do something. And you take the best of womanifesting, which is knowing that none of us are an island. We all need each other. We need help. And adding the element of dreams, which is really code for tapping into that higher point of view, the soul's perspective, and then letting that move us into creating the things that we need in this world, the very practical things that we need, as well as the much more soulful, higher level, higher consciousness needs as well. So that's kind of the essence of what dreamifesting is.
I think so many people poo-poo their dreams. Now there a lot of people keep dream journals, but
Yeah.
they don't go that next step as to what does this mean? What is my spirit trying to say to me? And to me, dreams are the spirit giving me symbols and hints and synchronicities as to the directions that might be helpful for me. And and I understand people, oh, this means this, that, therefore it's this, and it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's helping you along your pathway,
Yeah.
and people. Now, I have to admit, I mean, I'm a lucid dreamer from way back, so I take part. I roll my sleeves up, and it's like, no, I don't want to go that way. We're going to go another way, but
Right.
uh, but with dreams, every now and then, it's always, it's not just every now and then. It's always there's a message, and it's a good, positive message for improving your life. And taking the time to sort of journal it down and say, okay, this is what the dream was about. And no matter how weird or strange it is, there's a symbol, there's a message, there's a a suggestion from spirit there. And if we take that suggestion, life flows more easily.
Yeah, it certainly does. I one of the essays in the book, I talk about my near-death experience and how absolutely monumental that was for me in terms of shaping my personal mythology of what we're doing here, and the wisdom that I feel like I tapped into that is beyond the scope of this human dimension, and the third dimension, the body dimension. And and then I discovered right around the time that I was invited to do a TED Talk, which it had been on my bucket list for a very long time, and I decided to talk about the intersection of dreams, near-death experience, psychic phenomena,
Mhm.
out-of-body experiences. All of those things take place with the parietal lobe, basically. And what does that lead us to? But they're all portals to another dimension, to another aspect of ourselves, to God, and so all of these parts of us, what they all have in common is that they're not limited by the belief structures that we have as humans. The doors are open and
Yeah.
we all have access to them. So we don't have to die. We don't have to have an out of body experience. We don't have to be psychic. We don't have to be particularly gifted. We all dream, which is like if nobody dreamed but you, the listener or the viewer, it would be you would be this wild, crazy shaman. It would be extraordinary that you go to sleep, you close your eyes, and you experience other dimensions as if they were real, because they are. You're able to see behind walls, you're able to jump around in time. It is an extraordinary thing. It's just that we all do it every night, and it's easy to take it lying down because we look awful when we sleep. Just like in my near death experience, somebody took a picture. They took pictures of the whole thing, and I looked like, I was all like just white as a sheet with a little bit of blue, drooling, mouth open. And you don't look at somebody that looks like that and think, I want to know what's going on with them. I mean, it looks like, oh, stay away. So I think we just have this stigma that if you have it all together and you can speak very clearly, then we should listen to you. But really, I think grogginess is next to godliness. That in between place is really where it's at, even if it's not pretty to look at on the outside.
Well, there are so many people that say they don't dream. And
Mhm.
to me, it's just second nature. It's a wonderful way of being a part of your spirit trying to get something through to your physical body. People keep forgetting that we are a spirit on a human journey, not a human on a spiritual journey. So
Mm.
it's sort of like, pay attention. The body is the body, and frankly, there are periods of time in my life when I was happy with my body, and other periods when I wasn't. And then it's like, well, who cares? You know, it's the spirit inside that counts.
Right.
And so it's sort of like, let's understand it's a vehicle. It's like a car.
Yeah.
And the difference is you can't trade your body in for a newer model. You have to take it all the way through this lifetime. But
Mhm.
it's sort of like all of the gifts and talents and abilities are there if you reach for them. And so many people say, I'm not psychic, I'm not intuitive, I'm not, and you're all of those things and so much more. And
Right.
it's a matter of utilizing those tools and connecting to the spirit within. And your process is just, it's for a logically minded person who
Mm.
doesn't believe any of this exists. If they go through your book and actually genuinely do all of the exercises, they're going to come out saying, wow, I was wrong.
Mm. Oh, I hope so. I sure hope so. Yeah, I thank you for saying that. I got a message many years ago this very loud and paternal voice that comes to me sometimes when I don't pick it up. When I don't pick up the message more symbolically, it's like, all right, honey, here's the deal.
Yeah.
You're not here to just preach to the choir. Bring it down to earth. So I take a lot of satisfaction and joy in being able to take something as esoteric as dreams and all the spiritual places it can take us, and figuring out those ways to make it a habit, to make it accessible, to make it understandable. That's why I came up with the acronym JET set. You and I were talking ahead of time. We don't know. I think we could share it if we used one of your dreams, Barbara. But it's the whole book is designed in many ways to create habits. Similar, I was very inspired by Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved the way the 12-week format of that book, so I'm definitely borrowing that format because I loved how The Artist's Way changed me, and it made me a writer. I was never a writer before I did The Artist's Way, and because of the daily practices, I ended up writing my first book, and then all the way to 11 books later, 7 oracle decks, 2 journals. I just can't stop writing. I'm on fire. And I wanted people to have a daily practice of dreaming and a practical way and an engaging way to work on it with your friends, with your family, with a group of strangers, so that it could be a workbook. So you could gather every week and have something to do, have exercises to unpack, and of
Yes.
course, dreams to share with guidelines about my suggested ways to do it. So I'm really happy to hear when people share with me that they're hosting Dreamifesting workshops, or they're
Yeah.
signing up for the teachers training so they can train other people how to do it. It's really fun. Is something that is very tangible and actionable.
Well, yeah, when a long time ago, 40 some years ago, probably longer now, I was in a spiritual development group in a spiritualist church.
Mm.
And we got homework assignments every night, every week. And one of them was to draw a mandala for a classmate. And,
Oh, wow.
and, you know, he told us what mandalas were, showed us examples of them, and said, but be creative, be whatever. And so I had taken a lot of mechanical drawing in high school because that's where all the boys were. And
so sneaky.
well, I was very familiar with my compass and my ruler. And so
sure, that's not all, but keep going.
So I did a mandala design, and I painted it in watercolor, and I did a reading that went with it, and not thinking much of anything. And people liked it, which I mean, it wasn't messy, but and everybody wanted one. And so for the summer, because I was off teaching, I painted a lot of them. And then people started to, you know, push me for more. And so I started to
Wow.
charge for them. And before I knew what was happening, I had done 500 of them, and they were all over the world. Now, I'm not an artist. I am not an artist. However, I took what I had, done with those 500 paintings and created an oracle deck. And so there's the oracle deck is the cosmic deck of initiation, and it's been out there for 30 years now. And I keep telling people this deck is not, it's not of me, it's through me. And I haven't painted since the deck was done. I stopped painting personal mandalas. The reason for that was the deck. The deck got created, and I moved on. But it's sort of like, when you are led some ways, and you think it's stupid and it's funny and it's silly, and then it turns into something. You realize that when things happen like that, follow through, allow it to happen, take it to its wherever. Don't stop it and say, I still say I'm not an artist. I mean, I've done lectures with other people where I did people's auras with chalk and stuff like that. But I'm not an artist. It's just it seems to be a tool, and I play with it,
Mm,
and I am not going to make a business out of it because I don't think that's appropriate for me. But
mm.
but you know, writing came with this thing, and so yes, I've written books and I've done stuff like that too. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's it's a matter of allowing myself to be led by dreams, and I think that's you don't do it on betting on whatever horse it is, although you might. I mean, I don't know, but I
Right.
wouldn't recommend it. I do know I put numbers on the cards, and my mother and I drew cards for the lottery for a year. We won nothing, but
Well,
yeah.
you've won the lottery in other ways.
Oh, I
But
did.
one thing I love about your story is, and this relates to one of the principles of Dreamifesting, is you you discovered this talent for creating mandalas because you were creating one for a classmate. And there's a Buddhist tenet that basically says if you want a blessing for yourself, wish it on somebody else.
Ah,
Focus all the blessings that you wish for yourself onto somebody else, and everything that they would want and then some, and you create the space for the grace of the divine to come through you and to give you a blessing. Sometimes when we're so self-focused, there's no room, there's no getting in place. And so that's one of the things I tell people to do with regards to dreamifesting is, instead of focusing on what you want at bedtime, which is really dreamifesting 101, is focus on what you want at bedtime.
yeah.
Hand it over to your dreams and take note of what your dreams give you and consider that breadcrumbs through the forest, either
Yes.
propelling you toward what you want or showing you what's in the way so that you can release that so you'll have more levity. But if you really want the dreamifesting to the max, it's to think about somebody else at bedtime that you want to bestow a blessing on. And it can be somebody that you don't even know on the other side of the world. We're in a war in Iran as we speak, as we record this. So we could say, I dedicate my dream time to helping relieve the suffering in Iran or in the Middle East or in any of the places where anybody's suffering. And just that offering, people report having the most incredible dreams that of course benefit them,
Yes.
but you're opening yourself up to be a much greater channel. And you never know, those dreams you have could be that missing piece of it. It could be that you're transported into somebody's living room, or just your presence alone is shifting the balance somehow. So there is something very special. If we really want the greatest of all blessings, let's focus on all our blessing power on another soul.
That's perfect sense. The other thing that I have found that is very, very true is that when we're children, when we're very, very young, when we're 2, 3, 4, as a spirit, as a soul in that young body, we will manifest interest in channels that would benefit us as an adult if parents would take the time to
Yeah.
pay attention to them. And I can, I'm old enough so I can look back.
Yeah.
I'm 82, so I can look back, and
You're amazing.
when I was very, very young, um, my mother used to, the doilies they put under pastries.
Yeah.
She would give them to me, and I would spend hours painting them,
Oh,
and that turned into the Mandelas
yes.
60,
Yeah.
70 years later. Um,
Wow.
I would have church services for my animals on Sundays. I am an ordained minister, and I have served in the pulpit. And the other was that I would teach everybody. I would set up school and I would teach everybody. And I
I
taught
can
school
picture
for
that.
25 years, but those are three areas that as a child
Yeah.
I was saying these are directions that will be healthy for me to go in at some
Yes.
point in time.
Yes.
And it's kind of like if you sit and you go back and you take a look at what was it, you know, even if it was you wanted to be a cowboy or a cowgirl, there might be
Right.
something connected to it. So pay attention to those things. Our spirit inside of us gives us all sorts of hints. And with your process here, it's you're waking up those hints that have been the breadcrumbs that the spirit has,
Yes.
been throwing it our way.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to pick them up, it's okay. Next life is all around the corner. But
Right.
if you want to work on it this lifetime, and I love the part with when you're talking about getting ready for bed and going into a meditation and breathing deeply, you say it's okay if you go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. And you
Yeah.
probably will before you get to the end
Oh
of that
yeah.
meditation. Yep. Yep. I've got um, about almost 100 meditations, but about 15 of them are focused on dreamifesting because it's not, I started with one dreamifesting meditation and then I just kept coming up with new ones, different ways, because some people, there's one meditation that everybody really loves and it's in the book, written in the book, but if you want to hear it guided so you can listen to it as you go to sleep, it's the requited love meditation.
Uh,
And you can go to my dreamifesting.com to find that. I think one of, yeah, I offer for free the soul goal meditation, which is also a popular one. But the requited love is to imagine that what you're wanting is wanting you. And it's like Romeo and Juliet not being star-crossed lovers that keep missing each other, but imagine that you're moving toward what you want as it is moving toward you. And you're the one that's been elusive. You're the one that's been playing hard to get. You're the one that's been being coy.
yeah.
And stop it. Stand out and extend your arms and move in the direction of that energy that is guiding you, and you'll discover that you're not going to be hurt. You're going to move. I mean, we all have such a resistance towards that love. It's so interesting how when somebody gets what they want, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody in the moment of getting what they want, but there's often this stupefaction, this like they kind of get distracted, they look away.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen so many times and I'm like, wow, the real work is not in getting the good to come to us. It's in dismantling the part of us that resists the good being here and feeling like the other shoe's going to drop. And it's just so much easier to be in pursuit of something than to just be in the receipt of 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 that which is dreaming us, that which loves us, that which wants us to thrive and prosper.
But isn't it the journey, not the arrival, that's the important thing?
I think arriving every once in a while is part of the journey.
Oh yeah.
Is and because I there's it's like there's the cat and mouse game that we play. Like I'm either chasing it or I'm running away from it. It's kind of Joseph Campbell talks about the belly of the whale stage of the hero's journey. And the way I understand it is it's our biggest fear. It's our biggest nightmare being swallowed up by the belly of the whale because we're either having to face being alone in that belly or we're facing being swallowed up by something. So
Yeah.
those are our two primal fears, being alone or being overwhelmed by too much, whatever that is. So I think once we stop being on that particular treadmill, there's a dropping in. There's a dropping all the way into the ocean floor, which is where the treasures always reside.
Oh yeah. I think one thing that you bring up here over and over again, and it's something that all of us struggle with. How do you tell the difference between the ego and the soul?
That's a Perfect question. And that is actually the question that is at the heart of Dreamifesting. And it makes it different than the typical manifesting workshop or workbook kind of a thing. A typical manifesting workbook is you get a goal in mind, you make a strategic plan, you picture yourself already in it, and you go and you act as if it's already happened, and you make it happen, and you you kind of don't take no for an answer, and you just go, go, go. And then you make your next goal and you keep on going, and that's it. But how do you know if your ladder is up against the wrong wall? Because some of us manifest based on, well, they have that, I should have that too. Or I was told I'm supposed to have that thing or that person or that job or whatever. And how do you know? So here's one way that we know. This is where the soul goal meditation comes in. And again, that's available on dreamifesting.com. So you identify something that you want. So this is for your viewers or listeners. Picture something, and if you need to pause the recording, do it. But get something in your mind that you would really like to have right now. And it might be money. A lot of people are like, a little more money would be really nice. Or a lot more money would be really nice. So just think of an amount, whether it be $100 or $1 million or $1 billion, whatever it is, or if it's the car, if it's the person that you want to be healthy, or if it's your body, that whatever it is, picture one thing. So once you've got that thing in mind, ask yourself, if I had that thing or that person, that situation, how do I imagine it would make me feel? So you might want to pause the recording again and write down a few words. And maybe I can ask you, Barbara, you don't have to say what the thing is necessarily, but what are a few words that describe how you'd feel if you had that desire, like the genie that I am, granted your wish?
The very first thing is fear of losing it.
Oh, perfect. Very good. Thank you for that. That is really honest. You're right. Okay, fear of losing it. This is why we go to the next question. Okay, so let's go beyond that. The fear of losing it. Drop in a little more deeply. What's past that fear of losing that thing? And you have it. You've got some security with that. Then what's available? What's the feeling or the energy?
Being worthy of it.
To be worthy of it. So a feeling of worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so, and this is for everybody watching or listening, just ask yourself how you would feel if you had the thing that you wanted. Barbara's saying that it would be worthiness. So now let's go another layer deep. If you had all of that worthiness, what's under that? What else is there? What's underneath that worthiness? What else would you have?
I think for me, it would be that it doesn't fulfill the desire of the spirit.
Oh, so that thing doesn't. So it gave you worthiness, but once you had worthiness, what's underneath worthiness was like kind of something empty?
Yeah, it was like, that's not why you're here.
Okay, so then that brings you closer to why you are here. So then what does that bring you to? So this journey has brought you a little bit closer to what it is you are here to do or to have. So what is that? What is that? What's that next thing?
Sharing spirit.
Sharing spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing spirit. Okay. So that's the soul goal.
Yeah.
The soul goal is sharing spirit. And and I don't know what the ego goal was or that thing on the surface. And you don't have to share what that is, but I imagine it was a much more human level thing, which is fine because we're human. And we're here. We need to eat. We need to have a roof over our head. And some of us like to travel. We like to buy some nice things, and we want to sleep in a nice bed, and we want to, we don't want to have to worry all the time. And so there's nothing wrong with those things, those creature comforts. I believe we're here to have a full human experience, as full as we can possibly have. But if we have that outer experience, like C.S. Lewis says, if you aim at heaven, you'll get earth thrown in. If you aim at earth, you get neither.
Yes.
So when you start with, and I got the chills, when you talk about sharing spirit, nothing can take that from you. That's a state of being. And guess what? You already have it. And guess what else? You've had it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have it till the end, and there is no beginning and there is no end. So it's just
True.
a state of foreverness. So that's what was really, really being wanted underneath all that was on the surface. So that's the difference. And I tell people at night when they go to sleep, you can acknowledge that ego level thing as something that you still might want to have.
Mm-hmm.
You might still want that red Ferrari. You might still want the hot guy, or you might want to have the new hip, and you might want that trip to Paris. You might want a best-selling book. You might want all those things. So acknowledge what that is, but then also acknowledge the soul goal and acknowledge that you already have that. And that ego level goal was just really trying to get you to that thing that you already had, the soul to soul, that sharing the soul. And when you go to sleep tonight, go to sleep inside of the thought, soul to soul, sharing soul. How do I do more of that? Where do I go now? And let your dreams pick up where that leaves off. And those are going to be some high quality dreams, not just problem solving dreams or getting noticed dreams or trying to fight off a predator dreams. Those will be the kind of dreams that are like top notch.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think that for me, dreams are always so fascinating. It's sort of like, sometimes I just don't want to get up. It's like, no, we'll go a little further with this one.
Yeah, that appointment can wait. Yeah. Well, thank God you do that, and you pay attention to them, and you have this rich life, and you know what's important. So yeah, in Dreamifesting, the soul goal piece is one of the pieces people are the most perplexed about. They know what a regular goal is, but how do you know what the soul part is? You get there you can start with the low-hanging fruit of what do you want on the surface. Start there, because that's easy. And then it's hard to go straight to the soul, because that can feel a little nebulous. But start with the low-hanging fruit of the ego goal and just ask those questions. And before you know it, you'll be at the soul.
Yeah, it's I think the journey, at least for me this lifetime, has been learning, first of all, it's the journey that's important. And that's where my teaching tools are. That's where I'm learning. That's where I'm growing.
Yes. Yeah.
And somebody asked me, my daughter-in-law, they have this thing at Thanksgiving. There's a question under everybody's plate. And after dinner, we all have to answer the question. And for me, the question this last year was, what were your biggest teachers? Or what or who were your biggest teachers?
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, that's so easy. All of my mistakes. Because if you don't learn if you don't make a mistake.
That's true. That's true. I think you might have liked my book that came out before Dreamifesting called A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. That was my big book of boo-boos.
Well, I look at especially challenges for me aren't really challenges. They're the universe saying you've grown so far. This is a test to prove that you've achieved something.
Ooh.
And so when I have a dilemma, it's, oh, I must have reached another, pathway thing here. This is cool. I have all of this coming together and it's a little scary. It must mean I have come to a place where I'm far more capable than I think I am. So let's figure out how we can achieve, get through this. So it's not,
That is
oh, woe is
great.
me. Oh, woe is me. Why are all these bad things happening? There's no such thing as a bad thing. It's just a challenge to prove to you how great you really are.
Mm, I love that perspective. Oh, it's like it's some kind of a reward or something like, oh, I must be
Yeah.
worthy of this Olympian feat.
Yeah.
This is
Every now and then I step back and say, are you kidding me?
right.
And, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, so
Yeah. One of my best friend and I, we talk about living in the pearl factory where all the grains of sand are just we're creating pearls. And at some point, I got a lot of pearls. I'm good for now. I don't need any more for a while, thank you.
well, yeah, every now and then it is, you must be choking. And so that when things do, fall apart or when there's something that's gone horribly wrong, it's like, what is this teaching me? And how can I benefit from it? And I have to have the power to get through it or it wouldn't be happening.
Right. Wow. Now yeah, that's a good one.
Now, I do go through that process. However, I also feel sorry for myself. I give myself a pity party, and then I eat a half a cake, drink a lot of Diet Coke, and then the next day I get to work. But
Okay.
I'm not so evolved that I don't wallow in it because I do.
I love that.
Pepperidge Farm's coconut cakes don't. If I'm going through a crisis, I will eat a whole cake.
It's like Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live. Somebody's in crisis. He said, "This might sound strange, but can you get yourself to a pound cake?
Yes.
Run, don't walk, get the cake. We'll get into solutions tomorrow."
Exactly. I mean, the reality is let's get this out of the system and then we can get on with solving the problem. But
It's
but
interesting
basically,
that it's kind of a funny thing. At the end of Dreamifesting, I talk about cake as a metaphor, and a lot of people
yes.
dream of cake. I was interviewed by Stassi Schroeder, who is the one of the stars of Vanderpump Rules. It's a television show based on one of the Beverly Hills housewives.
Yeah.
Anyway, she talks about how every single night there's cake. And so we had a whole episode, so people can Google it, Stassi Schroeder cake dreams. And there I am talking with her about it. But you could think, like, just as you did, this challenge, because everybody's got a challenge. There's not a single
Yeah.
person watching or listening that doesn't have something, some grain of sand in their oyster.
That's why we're
So,
here.
so you could think of it as like, yeah, go get your cake or your metaphoric cake because you deserve this, because this is part of your next level of evolution. You're growing. You must be worthy of this. You've got this.
Yeah.
Like the Olympians, if they get to the Olympians, the Olympics, and there's no pole vaulting or no track or no, it's like, we're just going to be here and you're just going to get your award. There would be no joy in that. So having to hop over those hurdles, it's important.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, this last month we had an ice storm here,
Mm.
and we lost power for
Oh,
9
wow.
days.
Oh, my
And
heavens. That's a
everybody in the condo, there are 14 of us, and everybody had gone to a hotel and whatever, but I had no place to go, and I had my cat. And the condo got down to 30 some degrees, and 5 blankets isn't enough. And I felt abandoned, and I felt absolutely hopeless. And I was absolutely, I didn't know what to do. My car didn't work. I had no electricity. My phone was out of whatever.
oh my
And
God.
one of the condos, they had power, and she texted me and said, "Are you okay?" And I called back and I said, "No." And she said, "My son's coming for you." And her son came for me and the cat, and they put me up for a week. She put me in her bedroom,
Oh my goodness.
They had they have a bird, so my cat was in the bedroom, period. Um, and they were vegetarians, and but they took care of me. And I
Yeah.
have never, ever, ever experienced unconditional love the way that I felt that 7 days. I mean, it was to the point where I had anxiety that was unbelievable, and they took me to the critical care place, and I wasn't having heart attacks or anything. It was anxiety, but I have never felt so loved and cared for in my entire life. It was a beautiful experience, and I'm so grateful for it. I don't want to do
Wow.
it again. I lost
Right.
6 pounds. They were vegetarians, but they were waiting for me when I came home. But it was the it was so amazing. Yes, to not only be warm, but to be cared for and unconditionally. And I have never felt that kind of unconditional love ever. And it was just amazing. It was an experience I will never forget.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We'll talk about a crisis being a terrible thing to waste. It didn't get wasted. You got to discover this love. And gosh, the human part of me wants to say, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Oh, it
But
was
the bigger
great.
part of me is so happy for you.
Yeah,
I,
no.
I came through a year ago, we had the big fires in Southern California,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they came very, very close to my house. We were evacuated for almost 2 weeks, and so much of the Pacific, I mean, the Pacific Palisades is just gone, and Pacific Coast Highway, and leading all the way up just within about a quarter of a mile of my house. So that was, but there was so many blessings, the people that showed up, and the connections that were made during that time. And there was one woman that lost everything, her home, her car, her business, and all of her retirement was all wrapped up in her house. So
Ah,
she came, and she had a really nice house. The people that lived in the Pacific Palisades, not a lot of people felt sorry for them because it's a wealthy area, but most of those people, all their money was tied up in their houses, and the insurance was very minimal.
yeah.
And she had nowhere to go. She ended up getting a teeny little apartment in Palm Springs, which is, basically it's a whole other world. And when I talked to her, she said, I strangely have never been happier. I mean, it was shocking. And of course, I mean, there's a lot of trauma, and I don't want to be insensitive to the people that are still really hurting and still traumatized by it. But there's also, in equal measure, a lot of people that have a freedom of having gone through that fire and having
Yeah.
lost so much, but still finding some essential aspects of themselves and of their friends or the people in their lives that they didn't really know before, and a freedom to be done
Yes.
with the things that you thought you had to have, like the diamond handcuffs. What if you
Yes.
don't have to have them?
Well, the only thing I was worried about was the cat, and cat came with me. I wouldn't have left her.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like, okay, I know where my value is. Did I take anything with me? I somebody had to come back and get underwear for me, because after a number of days I realized, oh my goodness, I have no clothes. but
yeah,
but um but it was an experience that I will treasure always.
yeah,
And they were just so absolutely um generous with everything they owned. And didn't and it was like, I don't know how to thank you. And they just looked at me like, you don't have to thank us.
yeah,
And it was like, how do I how do and the only thing I can do is take that experience and make
yeah,
sure that I practice it in the future,
yeah.
because it meant so much to me. And it was amazing. So I'm very grateful for the experience. I don't want to repeat it, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I was so grateful for it. And
Mm.
with dreams, we
Mhm.
do get hints as to what's coming. We do get, you know, and quite
Mhm.
often it's not a direction that we would normally have gone. But I tell people if a door opens, step through it. You can always back up,
Right.
but you don't.
Right.
But to see a door that's open and not step through it is to miss a potential.
Right. Yeah. It makes me think of one of the dreams that I talk about in the book is from Daryl Anka. So a lot of the dreams in the book are mine, but there are also some from my clients and some from my colleagues and friends of mine. Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar,
Hmm.
and he talks about how he had been channeling Bashar for a very long time, feeling very close and connected to this very, very powerful non-physical entity.
Yeah.
And one day, as he was about to go to sleep, he was having a little bit of kind of grumbles toward Bashar, like, I channel you all the time, but I've never actually seen you. You've never presented yourself to me physically. You'd
Hmm.
think that you would do that. I mean, that would be like a decent thing to do. Here I am doing your footwork. So he has a dream that he's walking down the street and who's coming toward him? Bashar. And Daryl says, "Oh my God." And he could feel this vibration that is
Uh-huh.
so ecstatic, so extraordinary that he can't handle it. He becomes overwhelmed and he sort of pixelates. And he says in his dream, "Oh, that's why you don't present yourself to me physically. I can't handle it. The ball's in my court." So that story to me is sort of the quintessence of dreamifesting as well, because there's sometimes our dreams show us where
Yeah.
the ball's in our court. And if we want X, Y, and Z in our lives and we don't have it, it's likely that we're not a vibrational match. And
Yes.
that part is under our control. We might not know exactly how to orchestrate all aspects of the universe, but we sure can do something about our vibration. And talk about walking through the door. This is what made me think of it. One of the reasons why when a door is presented to us, we don't walk through it is because we haven't necessarily developed that energetic equivalent and we feel overwhelmed by the opportunity. That's why I was saying when people get what they want, there's like
Yeah.
a like you even said, if I get what I want, well, what if it goes away? There's this resistance that we
Yeah.
th-
But it's funny. A long time ago, I did a barter with an astrologer, and at one point he said to me, "You should be doing all of this stuff full time." And at the time, I was still teaching school, and I said, "Well, when I retire, if there's a group, and I feel I have something to share, I'll be happy to share it." And he said, "You're absolutely wrong." And I said,
wow.
"Sorry." And he said, "It's your journey that's your teaching tool, not arriving, because the minute you arrive, another journey is ahead of you."
Oh,
So,
oh, I
so,
love that. So
so when
start
I,
where you are.
yeah, so when I started, when I was serving in the pulpit, I was part of a rotating ministry. They were going for somebody full time, but there were there was 5 years where there were a bunch of us
Wow.
that rotated. And I finally said the very first time I gave a sermon, because I thought it was a piece of cake. It's not a piece of cake.
Mm.
I put not only the organist to sleep, but the choir to sleep, and most of the congregation. I may have taken a nap or two too. So um, I was surprised they asked me back. But when they did ask me back, because I gave a traditional sermon, which I thought was fabulous, but it was very boring apparently.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I looked at the congregation and I said, "I'm not worthy to preach to you, but I can
Mm.
share my mistakes with you so that
Mm.
you don't make my mistakes. You have to make your own. And so I shared a lot of my mistakes, and I found that when I could get the congregation laughing, they were understanding what I
Yeah.
was teaching.
Yeah.
And it became so much easier for me and so much more comfortable for them, I'm sure.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. My last book was before Dreamifesting, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. There was something so relieving about sharing all of these things that I had carried so much shame about for so
Yeah.
long, and to have people be touched and moved and inspired, and then sharing their crises with me. It just feels like an instant relating that we all bleed,
I
we
mean,
all have pain. And
when life is so bucolic, there are no challenges. What's the point? It's those challenges that we live for. It's
yeah,
those
that's true.
challenges that are the teaching tools. It's those
Yeah.
challenges that let us know we've grown.
Yeah.
And so if things are screwing up all over the place, I usually feel really good because I must have done a good job somewhere. And it's
I'm gonna borrow that next time. Oh God. Yeah.
I
Instead of holding your breath, like, oh, I hope nothing bad happens.
I know, I
My
hope it does. I
Rasuli, the artist that I work with, who's done so many oracle cards, oracle decks
Mhm.
with me, he always says, creation, wait, destruction precedes creation. There is no creation without destruction. And he gets so excited about that. And I'm like, oh my God. And every time I'm around him, I realize how much I am holding on and just trying to keep it together. But to live in such a way that it's like, okay, I'm on a wild ride on a planet that's hurling through space at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour. You know what? It's going to get bumpy. It's going to get messy. It's going to be retrogrady, and there's going to be things that fall apart and don't go the way we want them to. And what are we to do? And to me, with all the craziness going on in the world, somebody who doesn't like me very much said, oh, I hope your dreams are helping you during this time. Like, how's it going, Dr. Dream? Because you live on a little cloud. And I said, my dreams are actually kind of helping me to stay sane during this time. I'm getting my own personalized
but
wisdom.
look at what's happening. I mean, we're destroying things so we can rebuild better.
Yeah.
And if you look at, a mountain is destroyed to create blocks for a Parthenon. Um,
Mm,
I mean, we're at the end of an age, and
yeah.
in order to build a new age, we have to have a level playing field.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, it's not people. I don't want to destroy people, but
Yeah.
but politics and policies and all of those things, if they don't serve, they should be destroyed and they should be renewed better.
Yeah. And where dreams come into the new, better world, or even to the old, decaying world, is,
Mhm.
at least, at the very least, from a dream perspective, we know everyone and everything in our dream is an aspect of ourselves.
Yes.
So there is no other, there is no they. And this is really tough. And because we want to other people that think differently than, or vote differently, or eat differently, or believe differently, and it's all part of us. And that, that's like the good news, bad news, everyone's in you. Good news, you could do something about it. You
Yeah.
can shine some light on the shadow part of you that you don't like, and you might start treating people a little more kindly when you realize they're an extension of you. They're part of you. They're your fingers and toes. They're your elbow. They're your heart. Why would you go around hurting yourself?
And
So,
they're going through the same process you are.
yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's an angry time. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody is it's a matter of, there's going to be destruction, but then there's going to be construction.
Yep. And it might not happen in real time. And we might not get to see what it
That's
looks like on the other side. I mean, here in Topanga Canyon, where I live in California, if you drive through the canyon where the fire had blazed last year and completely decimated, right now, if you drove through the canyon, you wouldn't know anything had ever happened. It is bright green with all the rain that we've had this year. It's like Ireland. You would never, like, you can barely see a few little remnants of the fire, barely. It's like, wow, nature regenerates itself. There's some part of us. I mean, we regenerate ourselves every 7 years. We have a whole new body, basically.
yeah.
So anyway, there's a big process that we're a part of, and I think dreams connect us.
It's an exciting time, and
Yeah.
your book gives people the roadmap to finding their higher consciousness and connecting to it. And that's what I loved about it. I mean, it's a spiritual journey. I mean, you can coach it in any terms you want to, but it's a spiritual journey.
Thank you.
And it does connect you to your higher consciousness, to the spirit within. And it helps you to live a richer, more abundant life, for sure.
Thank you
There's
so
Pearl.
much. There's Pearl. She has to be in every show.
Well,
She's like,
she
it's
looks-
about time.
she looks so thrilled.
Yeah, she's my reward for all the work. But thank you for all that you said. That means a lot coming from you, coming from somebody who is such a dreamer and such a bridge person that lives in this world, but not of it.
No, it's fun being on the bridge. The problem is you can't go too far in either direction. You have to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
You want to give people contact information where they can find you and your material and everything?
Yep, sure. My primary website is kellysullivanwalden.com. That's my name. Or the easy way to get there is ihadthestrangestdream.com. And that'll take you into my world. Also,
cool.
There's a direct page to Dreamifesting. That's Dreamifesting.com. And that's where you can find my meditations and information about my upcoming Dreamifesting Live. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kelly S. Walden. And Facebook is Kelly Sullivan Walden Dreams. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but those are the main things. And the book is Dreamifesting. Oh, yes. And the audiobook just recently came out. I'm excited about that.
Wonderful. That would, I read everything. So, but audio is a really cool thing. Audio would put me to sleep. So,
and that's okay. If my book,
know
that's my superpower. I put people to sleep.
I prefer to read the words.
Oh, nice. You're a better person than I am. These days I do so much on Audible, but my favorite way is to read.
I have never done an interview where I haven't read the book.
You are good. I seek to do that myself.
It's my PhD. I've got a couple of masters, but my radio show is my PhD, and I read the books. Thank you so much. I think you didn't get into as much as I would have liked to. So in the future, I'd like to have you back so we can go into some of the other stuff here.
I would love it. I would love to be back. Thank you, Barbara. So wonderful connecting with you. Time flies.
It does. And thank you so much. And everybody do check the book out and try the formulas because they are amazing. And we will see you next week.